You've reached the Infowars comment line. You've got 60 seconds for your question or comment. 60 seconds. And if it's good, we'll put it on air.
Hey, Alex, I just wanted to say, I know a lot of times before you've talked about there's no laws, state laws in Texas. You can't bear arms, but I know it's disgusting. It's unconstitutional, but in the Texas state constitution, it does give the state the right, even though it's against the U.S. Constitution, to limit the wearing of arms. And also there is a law against wearing arms in public. I just wanted to let you know about that. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Alex. This is Chris from Houston, Texas, and I'm recently eyes have been opened but it really what interests me, and I'm pretty far, I don't know a lot of things, but the chemtrail, they were spraying a lot here yesterday and the day before, just letting them loose. And you haven't covered anything on the chemtrail phenomenon lately, and I was just curious to see if maybe you could have someone come on and talk about the chemtrails or whatnot. And because I read one of your articles about the chemtrail, the aerosol spraying in the Ukraine, and then 2 days later the plague broke out. So I just hope none of that stuff's going on. I mean, who knows what they're doing up there? I mean, but anyway, I appreciate it, and keep up the great work, and I love your show.
Well, we love you, my friend. Okay, let me answer those two questions. I don't have the state law in front of me, but I know you can have open carry in Texas. It's just the police will come and harass you. And it's open carry in almost every state in the country. There are laws against concealed carry. That's why they give you a permit for concealed carry, because that's the only area they have jurisdiction over. But I don't have it in front of me, but I happen to know. I actually got a book at home, but it's a few years old, the state gun laws in Texas. And the same publisher puts them out for all 50 states. But I guess we could pull up state gun laws, open carry in Texas. But how do you think people all in Texas, the Black Panthers marching in Houston with loaded shotguns, people in Arizona marching around with AR-15s, people in Vermont doing it, people in California doing it. But people should check their laws to be sure first. There were some laws, I know, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s against wearing arms in bars because that was the old saloon days, worried about drunk people shooting folks. And some towns would pass laws about you got to stow your guns at the sheriff's office when you come into the county or the town. But I believe you're mistaken, sir. I wish you would have quoted the supposed laws for me. But that's something we can look into. It's this ambiguity. I was listening to a radio show this morning about Steven Seagal has some new cop TV show where he's actually a real cop of some town, and they're pulling people over, and they're arresting people for guns. And, oh, look, he's got a gun in his car. He's going to jail. You can only do that, in New York City, Chicago, a few others. Either we have these rights or we don't. In Texas, 20 years ago, half the people had guns in their gun racks. You don't see that now. Not because there's a law, but because they will harass you. We have to use our rights or we lose them. That's how Jews were slowly intimidated to not have businesses and not have political organizations and not be able to sell products by Hitler. He first treated them like third-class citizens and then started arresting them. And that's how tyranny works. As for chemtrails, we talk about chemtrails every week. You must have missed it. The White House admits they've got a terraforming / geoengineering program going on. They say it's classified, the details are, but that they are spraying us and manipulating the weather. And that's a whole other issue of them creating weather crises to then offer their political solution, taxing carbon dioxide that plants live off of. So we're going to come back and play a few more clips and comment on those. And then we've got Alan Colmes coming up. I certainly look forward to that interview. We'll be right back with the fourth and final hour. You've reached the Infowars comment line. You've got 60 seconds for your question or comment. 60 seconds. And if it's good, we'll put it on air.
Hey, Alex, JT in Chicago. Just wanted to remind you, in fighting this cap and trade and fighting this social health care, just want to remind you that we aren't fighting for the Ponzi crony capitalist system status quo. The Ponzi and crony system I like to call the Cronzy system doesn't work for many of us anymore with the deindustrialization of our nation and with the heavy onset of illegal immigration. It's a debt-based system that enslaves many of us. It's important to note that with all the people out there fighting for different causes, we've got the constitutionalists like ourselves, we got anarchists and socialists, that when not fighting together, we're all going in different directions, so we all have to find some common ground. Quick shout-out, Chicago We Are Change. Quick plug for Police State Watch blog. Thanks.
This is Ken from Washington State. Hey, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm looking around on the web to see if you already know about it or where it might be reported on the internet, but I just saw a small blurb on CNN, something about the White House is attempting to block Congress or dissuade them from doing any kind of probe into the Fort Hood shootings. So I found that kind of interesting, and I'm still waiting to hear the spin that CNN is going to put on that and what's going on. And looking for it on the web, but you might want to look into it. Bye.
Well, on that point, I will comment. I think the first caller's statements are self-evident. No need to comment on the second one. Yes, they've declared national security. Congress has been told under national security, you're not allowed to investigate or even request information. See, under PDD 51, Presidential Decision Directive 51, it stated Congress has no authority over anything dealing with national security. Emergencies, wars. Congress passes the laws and orders the president around. The Founding Fathers stated that Congress was the most powerful of three branches. Then they lied to the public and said, no, they're co-equal. Now they say the president is above the courts and the Congress. No, it goes to the legislative, the judicial, the president, the executive. That's how our system works. It's the Congress raises the money. They declare war and then say, here are your orders, Commander-in-Chief. Just like the generals take orders from the legislature. It's legislatures that levy war. It was the Continental Congress that started the Revolutionary War. It's the Congress. It's elected by us, our representatives of the states. But you've had this transfer of power to the executive. And the highest level security clearance members of Congress aren't allowed to see anything, not even the entire text of PDD 51. Then you have the John Warner Defense Authorization Act of 2007 that states that Homeland Security is for the states, to oppress the states and the people. I mean, this is all stated. Northcom is a criminal organization. It's not our military that's bad. It's what they've set up is illegal. And they're covering up Fort Hood at every level. Tarpley's written an incredible article detailing all the patsy evidence. There was a drill going on, 3 shooters. They said he was dead for 6-7 hours. They knew he was planning all this, supposedly, when he was sending emails to Al-Qaeda that were really going to the CIA, because that is Al-Qaeda. And Fort Hood is definitely some type of staged event. At bare minimum, they knew he was going to do it and let him do it. I mean, you badmouth Obama in the slightest way, you get court-martialed or a dishonorable discharge. This guy was running around for 4 years going wild on Bush, Obama, you name it, and they let that guy do what he did. And that's probably only just the beginning of it. That's only the surface of this situation. We're going to come back, do a little bit of a news blitz, some news on the economy. Then Alan Colmes is joining us in about, middle of the next segment. Looking forward to that today. And by the way, great job to the crew. They are really taking it to the next level, all of them. Craig Sadler, Jaron Neihart, Ryan, everybody in there is just absolutely kicking butt, and we want to salute their work and thank them. Be sure and check out the article getting all the headlines around the country and the world, getting a lot of attention. With hurricanes at 30-year low, Gore turns to Photoshop. The king of cap and trade simply airbrushes them in to his new book to create a more scary Earth. Paul Joseph Watson, PrisonPlanet.com. Don't forget PrisonPlanet.tv. You can get 5 months free right now, but it's about to end.